On the face of it, it seems like a simple answer. The game is just a good game. Each step you take from the opening, the game just showers you with quality and thus compelling you to be immersed and engaged. From the title screen visuals showing you a massive city to then descending into a ground to reveal a sinister cult, implying without saying that under the city there are dark forces at play. The music accompanying the visuals likewise compels you to be engaged. The loud chanting tells you of that it is going to be an epic adventure to be had, and then is contrasted with the soft strings to tell you that this will also be a fun adventure. Playing the game itself is just good. You are in a strange and horrifying place surrounded by equally strange and horrifying creatures. It is just so compelling. And the gameplay itself is just expertly done. The turn-based combat is the best that I've ever seen turn-based combat done. From the reactivity of input to output, and to the depth and complexity of the gameplay. So that's the answer, right? Not really. Examining it further, it doesn't answer the question fully. The game is loved unanimously and unambiguously, more than any game that is released this year, any of the biggest games. More than Spider-Man 2, more than Tears of the Kingdom, more than Alan Wake 2, and Baldur's Gate just has caused this explosion in the gaming community where people just have no end of love for it. You can tell by not only the awards it won, but also how popular the game is. Using Google Trends, you can tell that not only has Baldur's Gate 3 has the most amount of searches out of any of the games listed there, but it has sustained its searches for longer than any of them. It has also kept its relevancy on gaming than any other big game would be. For any other game to have this traction, it would go away in a couple of months to about a year, and become slowly and slowly more irrelevant. But Baldur's Gate 3 hasn't suffered that yet. Therefore, there must be something else causing the love and popularity for the game, other than it just being a good game. All the games I listed are good games, but none of them have retained this amount of interest, and that is what I want to explore. Some of the reasons that caused the Baldur's Gate 3 to be as well beloved and popular. I think there are 3 reasons. Now in reality, each reason, including it being a good game, contributed to the game's popularity and belovedness. I'm not trying to say that there is only one reason that made Baldur's Gate 3 so big, but to simply explain that all these reasons are what makes it so big. Reason 1 is Larian. Larian as a studio has always been different from other studios. Just to quickly say, the difference isn't that they care, they all do, but that the situation that other game studios are in is not the same situation as Larian is in. Larian's situation grants them opportunities and liberties that aren't afforded to these studios. The difference is not being controlled by a publisher or any other similar entity. Larian, throughout its history, has been known to take up other work, so just to sustain their own studio. They have the independence to both make whatever games they want to and speak to their fans unfiltered. This allows all their games, even if it isn't that appealing to a general audience, to feel like it is made by people who love those games. And their fairly direct interactions with their fans makes said fans feel seen and heard. Their discussion with them is something that's so unique amongst other studios, not again because these studios hate fans, but simply that Larian's position allows them to do that without any other entity getting into the way. A studio that actually takes their fans' opinions into considerations and faces criticism willingly and openly is something that many fans want, and Larian is praised for doing this. Baldur's Gate 3 has been shaped and changed by the fans to the extent that Halsin was elevated from an important character to companion status. Larian did that because the fans wanted him to be a companion. Second reason is the game being good. I did mention this before, but I do want to state that the game being good ensures that once the hype has died down for the game, that it will still be seen as good. Skyrim, while a good game in many ways, didn't sustain its status as a great game upon re-examinations of it. The initial hype of Skyrim pushed away the issues that people had for the game, but once it was gone, people found out that it wasn't as compelling as they thought it once was. Because, again, Skyrim had this huge hype surrounding it that made a lot of people really think about Skyrim in that way. It's not a bad game, but it's not a game that a lot of people think it is. And Baldur's Gate, it's very easy to understand what the game is and what it's trying to do, and it's really good at what it's trying to do. Third reason is that it is a good game with no clear issues. This requires a bit of explanation. There are a lot of great games that exist, but a lot of them have some minor issues here and there. A lot of games this year and in the past have suffered a lot of criticisms, whether that it would be that the game is being a bit bad or buggy or having in-game purchases. There will always be some obvious flaw that couldn't be ignored. That when discussing how good the game is in question, the response would feel like it has to include a caveat. Oh, the game is good, but it's so buggy. Oh, but the game is good, but there's terrible monetization. But with Baldur Gate 3, it doesn't suffer from an obvious flaw. You can just talk about the game without feeling the need to bring up an obvious issue or feeling that someone else will bring up that obvious issue. If you were to just play the game casually, you wouldn't see anything bad. The entire experience is just good. Going from point to point just is a good thing. And this fact makes talking about the game just a lot more easier than it is for anything else. And that is what I mean. Fans can just talk about how much they love the game without having to justify it or have to acknowledge obvious flaws in the game. You can just like it. You can throw a line, Baldur Gate 3 is my favorite game, and not have to justify the claim, or not have to expect that people go like, oh, alright, I guess it is. Imagine you saying your favorite game is Anthem, for example. A lot of people would respect that opinion, but a lot of people would still say you couldn't have chosen a better game to like, and that's what I mean. Baldur Gate 3 is just an accepted opinion generally amongst everyone. People just accept it. Imagine being a Starfield fan. Liking the game is valid, but man, does it really feel like everyone else is trying to convince you out of liking it. And that is what makes it so refreshing. You can just like the game. And that is what I think really makes Baldur Gate 3 so popular. Not just that the studio behind it is good, nor that the game itself is good, but that the game is a breath of fresh air in contrast to many other games that have so many issues. So, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate anyone who got this far into it. I'm going to start doing these more, here's my thoughts and whatnot at the end of these videos, now that I've at least collected some amount of views and subscribers and also have put enough videos out. And yeah, if you have anything to say or anything to comment on, please do so down below, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would like or subscribe. That would be very nice. Anyways, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah.